everyone. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Doobert webinar. So today we're going to be looking at how we can use our tasks to better manage our pet food pantry programs. These are really great because we can set them as just personal reminders to our team, or we can also use them as almost like a pickup log as well. So there's a lot of different options that we can use these for. So I really wanted to share this with you guys and hopefully spark some inspiration for some things that you can implement into your programs. So if you're new to our webinars, we're just going to go through a quick slideshow, and then once we get through that, we're going to hop into the system. We're going to look at any resources or anything we cover in the slideshow and walk through the processes, and then we'll jump back into our slideshow for just a quick Q&A towards the end. But other than that, let's get started. So for our overview, we can use our task to efficiently track our pickups, so we can record the dates that we had any pickups on. We can also create our workflows to automate some of our common pickup communications. For example, we're going to do a confirmation as just an example of what we can do with these, but I have a couple different ideas in one of the next slides. But we can also use forms to automate our application process, which is really great because with pet food pantry, sometimes you run like a food and vaccine clinic or anything like that where you're going to get a lot of requests at once. This is really great because if we make you a form on one of our paid plans, you can turn that form into a QR code, and they can just easily scan that QR code and fill out that form and easily apply for any of your programs. So that's a really great option as well if you do any of the clinics or events, things like that. But you can also just have this in your physical location, your rescue, your shelter, anything like that. And that can just be scanned there as well. So whatever you prefer, if you want to go the form route, I'll show you guys a little bit about that. But other than that, let's check out getting to know our tasks really quick. So we can easily assign team members to a task, or we can leave the task unassigned. So either way, if we want to direct this task towards somebody within our organization, we can add them to the task. If we don't want to and we just want it to be like a general note or anything like that, we don't have to assign it to anybody. We can view all of our tasks in the task tab in CCM, so that's another really great feature. We can search them, things like that. And then the great thing, like I said about the tasks, we can use it as almost like a note section. We can record when we had any pet pantry pickups or the time, the date, anything like that. And then we can also set reminders for when to send our workflows out for future pickups or any confirmations, things like that. Moving down into looking at how we can build our pet food pantry workflows, there's a couple different ideas that we can use these for. So for example, we can send pickup reminders if they're on a monthly support program, or we can also send these out to see if they're still in need of assistance this month, so we can kind of budget how much we have. We can then also send pickup confirmations when they actually pick up their order, just to let them know when they can request again, things like that if you have rules on that. Then we can also request any information on how much pet food that they need. We can have a couple different workflows for that, asking how much cat food, dog food, all things like that. And then we can also schedule our pickups through the workflows as well. We can send them out a scheduling workflow, and when they write back with their date and time that they want to use, then we can just put a status for example, pickup scheduled, and then we can also add a case tag for the date that they are picking up, because then that day when you come in, you can just search the tag of today's date, and then you'll be able to see all of the pet food pantry pickups that you have scheduled for today. So that's another really great way to use the workflows to kind of streamline your process and get that information easily. So now moving into our forms, I just wanted to share a little bit about this if you're looking to go the more automated route. Our team makes forms for your programs that can be shared on your website. You can accept your applications through the forms, and then cases are automatically going to open, and you're going to be able to review them and decide if they're a good fit for your pet food pantry program. So the great thing about this is that we give you a base form, and from there we can make changes. We add your logos, your branding, your colors, all things like that, and then we can add or remove any questions as you wish. But other than that, that is just a way to kind of automate your processes. Like I was mentioning, you'll get a link and you can have a QR code or anything like that for any of those high volume requests that you're going to be getting. So that's a really great resource for that. And I'll show you guys an example once we get into the system. But other than that, let's get into the system and start checking out what we can do with our cases and our tasks. So here I am in CCM right here. I clicked on Companion Case Management, and I'm in our tasks right here. So when I go down here and I click on our assigned cases to myself, just to show you guys, that's another great way to search. I really like these. So then here is the one we're going to be using. We have our case name right here for Claire's case. We have a status as that they're looking for a long-term support. We have the case type as our pet food pantry. These are going to make searching so easy. And then when we get down here, these are our case tags I have already in here. This is just letting us know that she has 2 dogs. They're large and they want dry food and dog treats. So that's a really great way to use your tags as well, because you can search these tags as well to see how many people are looking for dry food, treats, things like that. So down here we just have a quick little description, and then we have our contact info as always. I'm sure you guys know you're pros now. But down here is our tasks section that we're going to be working with. So the great thing about this is where we're going to be able to set our reminders for ourselves to follow up, send this workflow, add this tag, all things like that. So just to show you guys, I'm going to show you just how to use it as a little bit of a notes section first. So what we can do here is we can write let's say 725-24, and then we can just click on add. We haven't assigned this to anybody. This is just a really general task right here. So we can just put that right here. And then if we're adding this on a different date than today's date, then we would want to note that right here, because today's date and time will fall in right when we put that task in. But the great thing about this is that's how we could use it as kind of like a notes section. And then if you want to strike through anything, you can just click on that for like completed. And then we have our 3 dots right here. We can assign this to somebody, we can add a due date, or we can delete it as well. But now, for example, we want to put in a reminder for us to send out a workflow when her next pickup is coming up. So what we can do is assign this to ourselves. So we can just do the @ symbol and type our name, and we can just type our message of what we're supposed to do. So then we have for myself to send this pickup scheduling workflow on 8/20/24, and then we can also assign a due date on that as well. So that's another way we can use this. Down here we can just select that right here. We have our due date right here as well, and then we can put a time here too. But we can leave this out if we prefer not to, but we can just kind of have it in 2 places. But with this is pretty much it to assign a case to ourselves. Same thing if we want to assign this to somebody else, have somebody else in this workflow, we would just put @ and then their name. But what this is going to do is it's just going to remind us when that due date is coming up. And then we're going to remember, oh, we need to go in and send out that workflow. So if we just click add, same as before right here, and then it's just going to have the name highlighted. And then we're going to see that we need to send that scheduling workflow, and then this is going to be our due date right here. So this is what's going to happen if we don't put a due date. It's just going to fall in as today's date. But if we do put a due date in, then that will be what we are intending this to be done by, just so you guys can kind of see the difference with that. But other than that, that is really it for how we can use the tasks, assign them, basically, things like that. But these are really great to just set reminders for ourselves. So now what we can do is, for example, Claire is scheduled and we want to indicate which day she's scheduled her pet food pickup for. So what we can just do in our notes right here for our case tags is that we can put in a date, for example, that she chose that she wanted to pick up. So we'll just do 8/25/24. So we could just add that right here. We can add a color, anything like that. And then we can just pop that in right here. So we have 8/25/24. You'll always want to use the same date format for all these, just for to keep it all similar in form. But other than that, that is a great way to search the pickups that you have for the day. So for example, today's the 25th, and I'm going to put this into our search filters on our cases page, and then I'm going to be able to see everybody who's going to be picking up pet food today. So that's a really great way to sort and filter those out. And then once they pick up, you'll just want to remove that case tag right there. So super, super easy. But now what we're going to do is build a workflow to send out, and this is going to act as like a confirmation that we're going to send out right when they pick up, letting them know that they can't request again for another month, or for example, another 3 weeks, whatever your process is on this. But we're going to head over into companion case management right here, and we're going to start at templates. And over here, we are just going to click on the plus sign right here to where we can add. And then we're going to click whether we want to do an email or a text template. So I'm going to do a text one. So we're going to name our text template. So this is going to be Pet Food Pantry Confirmation. And then we're going to say, thanks for requesting assistance from Cause for Pause. We are confirming your pet food pickup. Please note that you can't request again for 30 days. We be in touch soon to follow up on next month's pickup. So super easy. It's just a text. We're not writing anything too long. So super short to the point, just letting them know what the next steps are, letting them know they can't request again for 30 days, and then that we'll be in touch to see if they need assistance next month. So this one's going to be all good to go. We're going to click save right here on this template. And then now we have our new template in here. So now we're going to head over to our workflows in companion case management again. And same thing, we're going to click on our plus sign. We're going to name this. This is going to be our Pet Food Pantry Confirmation. And that is looking great right there. So now we're going to click on text right here because we just built our text template. So now we're going to choose our template. So we have our Pet Food Pantry Confirmation right here. So this is great. And then we are not going to put any response, yes or no, on this one. This is just going to be a super quick way to send out this message. So we'll just leave this as 0 hours, and then we'll be able to end that workflow right there. If we get a response, we can always change our status to response received or awaiting CSR, anything like that. So I can just show you guys an example. If, for example, they had any questions, they wanted to reply to this message, then our case status would change to let us know. And then we can also assign it to a team member if they reply. So a couple different ways that you can kind of customize this to fit your process, but this all looks good for our workflow. We have everything filled in, so we're just going to click on Save and Publish. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our cases, and we're going to head back into Claire's case. So then we're just going to search through our assign to again right here, and then here's Claire's. Just opening this one back up, and now what we're going to do is say we got our reminder that we need to send them out a workflow. So we're just going to click on execute workflow right here. And we're going to scroll until we see our Pet Food Pantry one. So as we keep scrolling, we see Pet Food Pantry Confirmation. So we're just going to execute that workflow right there. And then it sent out that text letting them know that that they have just picked up. They can't request for 30 days, all things like that, whatever fits your process. So super easy. I love the tasks for reminding us to send out our workflows. And then another thing I wanted to point out is that we can see all of our tasks within the case right here, but we can also, in companion case management, we can head over to our tasks tab right here. And this is also a great place for us to view everybody on our team's tasks as well, so we can see what everyone's working on. We're really big on team collaboration here, so this is really great for that. We have we can see some of mine right here, and then some of my team members in here as well. We can search by case name filter. We have due dates, all things like that. We can see all tasks versus my tasks, anything like that. If you assign them to yourself, or if they're unassigned, then they would be in here under all tasks. So whatever you prefer, whatever fits your process, but these tasks are super customizable to use. So now I'm going to show you guys a quick example of what a Pet Food Pantry form would look like from us. This is just an example, but this is what is going to basically live on your website if you choose to go with a paid plan for the Pet Food Assistance Program. And this is where anybody can request your assistance. So we have our contact information right here, and then we can keep scrolling, and then this is where we just gather information on what they're looking for, whether they have dogs, cats, any specific diets right here, allergies, and then moving on to next. For example, why they need assistance, all things like that, long-term, short-term, and whether they have transportation, and then they're just going to sign right here. And then they can just submit, and that's going to automatically open that case for you. So that's going to take that manual case creation off your plate. So that's going to be really great for your data entry, and it's going to make sure that you don't miss a beat and all that information is falling in where it is supposed to. So I highly recommend that. And if you're interested in learning more about the paid plans, you can head over to Doobert.com/pricing/ to check out all of our paid plans. We also have a bundle and save program that's really great. Or if you're interested in just meeting with me or any of my team members to build you a custom process, you can head over to our support page right here, and you can book with either myself, Kimberly, and you can just schedule right from our calendars right here, depending on who fits your needs best. But other than that, now we're going to hop back into the slideshow and go through just a quick Q&A. Okay, so our first question is, I want to assign tasks to my team members. How can I get them in my account? So great question. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to walk you guys through it in the system. But what we would do is we would hop back into the system, and down here we have the partners tab, as you can see, and then we're going to click on volunteers and then manage volunteers right here. And we're going to click on add volunteer permissions. But before we do that, this is going to be the process for the organization owner, but anybody you're going to be adding to your account is going to want to just head over to Doobert.com, and they're going to want to sign up as an individual first. So what that's going to do is that's going to make them a volunteer or staff account, basically an individual. A couple different names that we call it, but anyways, once they do that, they confirm their email. Then you're going to want to click on the add volunteer permission. When we want to just put in their email, we're just going to click on this add volunteer permission right here. We're going to pop their email in and then just choose all of our preferences for their access levels in CCM, whether they want to be a view only account or whether they are going to have case creation and rights like that. So you can have full control over that. But other than that, then once they get that email letting them know that they've been invited to join your organization, they will just accept that email, and then they'll be able to log right in. So that's going to be super easy to get your team in here, but the organization owner will just have to start by doing the volunteer permissions right there. So moving back into our slideshow, our next question is, how can I delete the specific date case tags? So great question, and with those, you're probably only going to need them once. For example, there's never going to be another 8/20/24 ever again. So what we're going to want to do to kind of just clean it up is we can head over into our CCM again. So picking up where we left off, and then down here towards the bottom, we have our shortcuts. And then here we have our managed tags. So we're just going to click on that. And then right here, we'll be able to find the date one that we use. So for example, let me search that right here so we can see that this one was used, and then we can just click on delete right there because we won't need it again after that day has passed. So that's just a great way to clean it up and not have too many tags in here. But other than that, that is all I have for today's webinar. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in our future webinars.